Dear Nintendo, hi, I'm Bleak. You don't know who I am, and you probably never will. But I'm creating this video to ask you one thing. What the hell did you guys do to these little people? Where are they, Nintendo? Mii's. They got some games on the DS, really shined through during the Wii and 3DS era. Then the Wii U kind of happened, which, besides Miiverse, they got a few games. But at least the Switch came around and... oh. I really don't get why Nintendo has stopped using these avatars. Like at the end of the Wii U's life cycle, it felt like Nintendo was starting to neglect Mii's a bit with the shutdown of Miiverse and lack of games featuring Mii's. But granted, that might also have to do with the Wii U being, you know, the Wii U. Though now with the Switch, it feels like they are just embarrassed of the existence of Mii's entirely. They've barely used Mii's in any Switch games, they've shoved them aside in their own franchise, replacing them with something called Sportsmates? And Mii Maker has been shoved into a small section in the system settings. Which, can we talk about this for a second? How did Mii Maker end up going from this, to this, to this, to... oh lord. During the Wii's life cycle, these things were everywhere. From sports, to parties, to go-kart racing, to we don't talk about this one, to even letting Mii's have pets that you could hold to see how much they weigh. You fat piece of shit. And the 3DS only made them shine further with games like Tomodachi Life, which is a game that people have been begging for on the Switch ever since the thing released. However, if we look back at how things are today, you can barely see these guys anywhere. It's like Wu Island had a zombie apocalypse or something, because where the hell are these people? To prove my point, let me ask you a question. How many games do you think the Nintendo Switch currently has with Mii's available? I'll give you a moment. You got your answer ready? Well then, I tried researching how many Switch games actually had Mii's in them, and according to my trusted sources, Wikipedia, it's a grand total of, drumroll please, 11 games! Which somehow is more than what Nintendo themselves think it is. They for some reason say the amount of games is 7. And this isn't even the worst part. If we start removing ports and remasters from this list, we end up with 6 games. If we continue like this and remove a Japanese exclusive, we have 5 unique games with Mii's in them. Now if we open up Calculator on our Nintendo Switch and divide the 5 games by 7 years, we can come to the conclusion that this is less than 1 unique Mii game per year during the Switch's life cycle. My biggest problem with this is that Nintendo had ample opportunity to put Mii's in games that currently exist. I know about 51 Clubhouse games, Nintendo. You cannot tell me you didn't think about putting Mii's in there, Nintendo. It's a casual family game, Nintendo. This thing was screaming, put Mii's in here, Nintendo. However, while the Switch might have had it rough, there is another place where it felt Nintendo did use their Mii's every now and then. That's right. We're talking about the mobile market. I mean, their first step ever on iOS was literally a spin-off to Tomodachi Life called Miitomo, which today is... Then there's Mario Kart Tour, which I can't play because this game is unavailable in Belgium. But at least we still have Mii's in games like Mario Run, where they are nothing more than avatars. Okay, the mobile market isn't that much better for Nintendo. In fact, the last mobile game featuring Mii's, this being Pikmin Bloom, released 3 years ago. Granted, it was basically also the last mobile game they made these past 3 years, but still, it's sad to see that they don't even get a chance on mobile platforms. Hi, Tim from the future here. While grabbing footage for this video, I actually found 2 more mobile games featuring Mii's. If we do count these, the mobile market actually has more unique Mii games than the Switch has, which is kind of tragic at this point. This all leads to one simple question, which is also why I made this video in the first place. Why? Why is Nintendo not using these avatars anymore? If we ignore the possibility of Nintendo just hating me, I have 2 possible theories. You could even say that these are 2 possible game theories. Thanks for watching. Wait, hold on. Possibility number 1 is that Nintendo just wants to use more advanced avatars. The idea behind this comes from the Sportsmates in Nintendo Switch Sports. Compared to Mii's, they have more advanced customization options, like being able to wear more kinds of hats, glasses, and fursuits. Wait, you can wear fursuits in this game? Well, at first I thought this was the likeliest option. There are a few small problems with this theory. First, if Nintendo was dead set on using more graphically advanced avatars on the Switch, they would have just done an update to the Switch which added these avatars next to Mii's. And they would have probably already used these in many other games. Second, we've already seen that Mii's are very well capable of having so much customization too. I mean, look at the Switch port of Miitopia. You cannot tell me that this doesn't look highly detailed. On top top of that, it also shows that we've easily been able to put hats and clothing on our Miis. In fact, Tomodachi Life did this many years ago. So then we look at the second possibility. But for that, we have to look back at the 6 games from earlier. If we start to remove games where Miis aren't playable, alongside games that are just sequels, we end up with... Yeah, the second possibility comes down to Nintendo running out of game ideas for Miis. I'm not sure if it's exactly them not wanting to make any more games with them, or them just not having any ideas. But the fact that there have been close to no original games featuring Miis has to mean something. And you might be wondering why I'm so obsessed with this topic. Well, Miis hold a special place in my heart. Whenever I was younger, I always used Miis any time I could. I thought being myself in the game was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah, I printed the Mario Kart credits image, I was a gamer! I remember being about 5 to 6 years old and watching my nieces play New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Eventually, they go back to the Wii menu and open the Mii channel, and they started creating random Miis, including one of me. And for me, this was beyond insane. I was in the console. I was inside this box. I thought that this was the future of gaming, that we've hit the peak and nothing could top this. And honestly, looking back at the current state of gaming today...
Guys, what one is your favorite? Huggy Wuggy Chic, Scary Blue?
Yeah, I might have been onto something back then.
Ben Ben?
So with my little rant about Miis out of the way, let's move on to the second part of this title. How do we bring Miis back? Or at least... how would Nintendo bring them back? Now that the Switch is almost dead and the Switch 2 might be right around the corner, I'm guessing that they at least will try to make some more Mii games. So, what could possibly be a fun game to bring back Miis in? Well, I might just have an idea. I present to you A Letter to Woohoo. Remember Woohoo Island, Nintendo? Remember your sports island, you fuck? So we've never really had the chance to actually freely explore Woohoo Island without the time limit being smashed in our face. The closest we've really gotten to this was a flying sport from Wii Sports Resort and jogging in Wii Fit. Hi, Editor Bleak here again. So since I started recording this, there has been a free roam Woohoo Island game. It's mostly just a walking simulator, but still, it's kind of close to what I imagined the exploration part would be without almost every single mechanic I'm about to explain, but still, I will be using a lot of footage from that in here. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and there's a link in the description if you want to check out the game for yourself. Having an actual game where you can walk around Woohoo Island would be amazing in my opinion. Something along the lines of that one minigame in Wii Fit U, that would have been so much fun. But of course, you need an actual reason to play an open world game like this. You're not gonna spend 60 euros on a game where you just walk around on Woohoo Island all day for no reason. At least, most people wouldn't. I would pay $60 for that. That's where the letter part in the title comes in. Boom! You're a mailman. Your job is to deliver letters to different Miis on Woohoo Island. Whether they live in the town, in tents on plain fields, or maybe in the ocean. Now, Woohoo Island is a big island, so you probably need multiple forms of transportation. Perhaps you could ride a bike around the island, or maybe a car. Perhaps you could even use a boat or canoe to traverse across the ocean faster. Perhaps you can even find animals on the map to run around with, like dogs or cats. And it's not like Nintendo hasn't done something like this before. They've literally been teasing us with this shit for about a decade now. Woohoo Island is just such a beautiful location for a game like this. There's so much about this island we've yet to explore, especially at different times of day, because look at the town at night and tell me you don't want to be there. On top of that, with how big the island is, there could be a lot of things to find. Perhaps you'll find letters and bottles on the beach which can hold stories about Woohoo's past. Or maybe you're able to hide letters yourself so certain online friends can find it. And don't even get me started on checking out the interior of places. Or perhaps finding out more about Lakeside Castle. There's so much we can learn about Woohoo Island that has never seen the light of day. On top of that, you could also have multiple events like New Year or Christmas, similar to how Animal Crossing does it, with you, for example, having to deliver presents instead of letters during Christmas. Now, before I can continue telling you about my idea for this game, I first want to tell you a bit more about how I think the overall story of this game could go. Now, I don't think games like this really need a story. However, it is necessary to start somewhere. The opening of this game could start on a ship. On it, the owner of the MMS, short for Mii Mail Service, is waiting for you to wake up. Who is his owner? Well, we could create a new Mii for it, but we technically already have the perfect candidate for this role. To me, the only person that could possibly run the MMS is none other than Nikki from Swap Doodle. Nikki would tell you that you volunteered to work at the MMS, and that you'll soon be arriving to Rattle Island. Yes, I know it's just letter backwards. I'm not good at naming things, okay? But like, neither is Nintendo, so I guess I'm getting away with that one. There, you'll be able to select the Mii and register your Mail Me ID. Afterwards, you'll get set up with your own little tent. Similar to Animal Crossing, you could perhaps upgrade your tent to a house or a villa, and then decorate it similar to how Go Vacation does it. How do you get currency, you ask? By giving letters to Mii's around Woohoo Island, of course. Using the boat I mentioned earlier, you'll be able to traverse back and forth between Rattle Island and Woohoo Island. And the boat itself is where things get spicy. The fact that the boat exists means that you could go to different islands besides Woohoo. For example, what if we were possibly able to go to places like Spaco Square? I mean, there's literally a port down there that could easily become a docking point. Or what about crossovers with other games? Like, I'd love to go back to the island from Go Vacation, which is probably where most of the ideas from this video came from now that I'm writing this in the script. Overall, there's probably many more ideas that could be explored with this concept. And if you have any ideas for it, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what your take on a Mii game would be, or if you have any ideas for the game I proposed. And hey, if anyone out there feels like stealing this idea and making something out of it, then too bad it was mine, I came up with it first. Please reach out to me. I would love to play a game similar to this. Maybe already a game like this exists. I just miss the good old days of the Wii and Street Pass titles. These hold such a special place in my heart, and I hope that one day Nintendo decides to put them back in the spotlight. But until then, I guess this video will have to do for me. This was the first time I've made a video like this, and I'd love any feedback on what you guys think would be a fun topic or improvements to this video. Any feedback is appreciated. But until then, I guess I'll see y'all later. And Nintendo, if you listen to this, I love you.